Continuing on, Zuul is a router and a server-side load balancer developed and popularized by Netflix. Zuul is also a reverse proxy. We have this diagram wherein the user's request first pass to the forward proxy. That means the backend server doesn't actually know the information of the user, like its actual location. As for the reverse proxy, what happens is that this reverse proxy knows our API, for example, the catalog and the inventory API, but the web users, or let's say the mobile client, doesn't really know the address of that API. It is being routed using the reverse proxy. For example, we request the catalog API using the IP 1.1.1.1, but it's actually hosted on machine with IP address 2.2.2.2. Zuul uses Ribbon to call the remote services registered in a discovery server such as Eureka. By annotating a SpringBoot class with @enable Zuul proxy, a route is created for each service from the discovery client. As we add new services, routes are refreshed. @enable Zuul proxy also enables 2 additional endpoints. The routes, wherein a get to this endpoint returns a list of map routes. To get more details, add the query param format equals details. And then filters, a get to this endpoint returns a map of Zuul filters. Now let's begin creating our Zuul enabled project by creating a new SpringBoot project with the following dependencies: Spring Cloud Starter Netflix Zuul. This will enable Zuul in this project. Spring Cloud Starter Netflix Eureka client, which will register this server to our discovery server. SpringBoot Starter Web and SpringBoot Starter Actuator to expose the server information. Then we need to annotate the SpringBoot class with @enable Zuul proxy and add the enable discovery client as well, so that it will be discovered by our discovery client server. And then finally, we need to add some configuration in the application.yml, set the application name, the server port, the Eureka server instance information, and some Zuul configurations like the path. This path means that all requests sent to catalog will be redirected to the service registered to the discovery server that has a name catalog. No change is needed in our catalog service. Now let's begin running our projects in the following order. First is the configuration server. Again, you will always start by running the configuration servers first because all the other projects could depend on it. It's the place where you will add version your configuration. Next is, let's start our service discovery server. This one is in standalone mode. It doesn't need a peer for now because we don't need that for this demo. Let's run our load balancer. Nothing particular for this run configuration. Just run the project like any other project. So at first you might not have this run configuration here. If that is the case, right click on the project and select run as SpringBoot app. By now we should have the following URLs available. This is the configuration URL, the service discovery, and Zuul, where we haven't run the catalog service yet. Let's try accessing the servers. Again, this is the config server. As you can see, the default zone has 2 values, but we can ignore that because this server is running, so it will be registered on this one, and this one is not running. You should have some warnings and errors in your log because they will try to communicate with each other. Let's try accessing the Eureka instance. Here we have the Eureka service discovery server where the load balancer is registered. This is our load balancer. We should be able to access the routes as well as the filters. Here we have a route entry that tells us that all requests to the catalog /** should be redirected or should be forwarded to the catalog microservice. Let's start running the catalog service. We can use the default profile. This will use the configuration loaded from the default. Again, looking at the URL, this entry should now be accessible. That is the 87. This is port 8001, which is our microservice. So we have the categories. As of now, we don't have any record for the category table in our database. That's why this list is empty. To display more service information, we can access the actuator URL. Again, the last entry routes our requests in the catalog for *** path to the catalog service without knowing its actual URL and port. And that's the beauty of Eureka with Zuul. It simplifies the adding of a new service. Take note that we can run more than one instance of each service without changing the configuration. And maybe we can show that in the next video. But for now, let's check our catalog microservice. So it's running. Let's check if Zuul is properly forwarding our request or properly routing our requests. And I think it does because we can access the categories API in Zuul, which is running on port 8762. Let's try the actuator. And yeah, we can check the information in the actuator info URL to verify that indeed this is the catalog microservice. And that concludes this video. I hope this information will be of use to you when you decided to develop your own project using the microservice architecture. I would appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel and get notified when I upload the next video. And that will validate that what I'm doing is helpful for others, which will definitely inspire me to share more technical videos. Thank you for watching and goodbye.